Katseye is currently everywhere on your feed, but on stage, the members are disappearing one by one. The official PR narrative blames routine sick days and temporary breaks. Yet, when a 6-member global group suddenly walks a red carpet with only 3 girls left, the internet naturally begins to question the entire facade. Sophia is on medical hiatus, Manon remains absent, and now Megan just pulled out of scheduled appearances at the peak of their comeback. Fans on Reddit and TikTok are spotting the pattern. Late-night live streams about total sleep deprivation, hollow smiles, and an upcoming 30-city world tour hanging over their heads. Is this truly just bad timing, or are we watching the rapid breakdown of an idol machine in real time? Welcome back to the channel. Let us unpack the receipts. Look, to really understand how a massively hyped 6-member powerhouse got cut completely in half within a matter of weeks, you have to rewind to the moment the cracks first showed up on official paper. This collapse did not come out of nowhere. It kicked off with an official health announcement about Sophia that sounded perfectly polished and empathetic on the surface, but immediately triggered alarms across the fandom. On August 7th, the label dropped a formal notice confirming Sophia had to step away from live performances under strict medical advice, promising artist wellness while quietly shelving her until September. But the internet clocked the timeline gap in seconds. Sophia had already vanished from the Hinterland Festival weeks before any statement even existed. Management simply waited until fans started loudly demanding answers before finally saying anything. When a billion-dollar machine stays completely silent about an idol's health until public pressure forces their hand, that is not care. That is pure, calculated damage control. Meanwhile, the show had to go on for the high-stakes rollout of their mini-album, SIS Soft is Strong, and the promotional push for their lead single Touch. Behind the scenes, the timeline was already fractured beyond repair. The official music video dropped with 5 members because it was filmed well before Sophia officially went on leave. But the live stages were instantly downsized to a 4-member unit: Lara, Daniela, Megan, and Yunchai. On paper, it looked like a runaway Western crossover success story. But over on Reddit and X, people were watching the physical toll build in real time. When you take the high-intensity choreography, live vocals, and constant media pressure designed for 6 people and force 4 young women to shoulder it all, something is guaranteed to break. For anyone who tuned into the Netflix documentary Popstar Academy when it premiered on August 21st, none of this was a surprise. The series had already exposed the brutal, hyper-competitive K-pop training system grafted onto Western talent, proving this kind of systemic physical collapse is baked right into the process. That exact breaking point arrived on August 17th at the Summer Fantasy event in Los Angeles. When Katseye walked in for high-profile fan meetings and press junkets, cameras caught an impossible sight. Only 3 girls walked through the door. Online reaction was instant and brutal. Comment sections on TikTok and X blew up with relentless mockery, joking that the group was shrinking by the day like a survival audition that never actually stopped. Cynics turned the disappearing lineup into viral memes, while real fans grew increasingly panicked. But the real backlash was never aimed at the girls on stage. It landed squarely on executive management. Going from 6 members down to 3 in broad daylight is not just bad luck or unfortunate timing. It is a massive red flag exposing operational negligence and chronic mismanagement. At what point does cutting a lineup in half stop being bad luck and start exposing an abusive promotional strategy that treats young women as entirely replaceable parts? Tell me where you draw that line, because the optics here are wild. The rollout got even messier when fans realized Megan had quietly disappeared from scheduled promo earlier that week without a single word of advance warning. She was missing from a major school interaction shoot on Celebrity Substitute, and when GQ dropped their feature naming Katseye among top breakout artists, Megan was completely gone from the official group photo spread. She eventually stepped in to control the narrative herself, sending a personal Weverse message explaining she woke up sick and needed the day to rest and recharge. The label quickly attached brief footnotes blaming a routine bug, but internet sleuths were not buying the casual excuse. Megan had already opened up in their documentary about her intense personal struggles with anxiety and emotional overload, and reiterated in People magazine just days earlier on August 14th that mental health remains a daily battle for her. Watching her suddenly vanish during a non-stop media run felt far less like a random 24-hour cold and far more like total physical and mental burnout. As fans on Reddit pointed out, dropping down to 3 active members does not just leave empty spots on stage, it triggers a brutal chain reaction where Lara, Daniela, and Yunchai have to absorb double the vocal lines, re-block every routine, and endure twice the scrutiny, locking them into an inescapable cycle of exhaustion. The label wants you looking at glossy magazine covers, not the emergency room exits. If you want the real receipts behind these PR cover-ups, hit subscribe before we get into what happened next on Weverse. Just as the fandom was begging for real answers, a late-night Weverse broadcast on August 18th dumped lighter fuel on the situation. On TikTok, the narrative was already set. The remaining girls were finally turning on the members resting at home. The awkward laughs, the pointed comments about waking up at 4 a.m., the internet saw pure resentment and claimed their strained banter masked deep internal friction. But the real receipt wasn't hidden malice, it was complete, unhinged physical breakdown. Lara openly admitted they were waking up before dawn, traveling non-stop, and surviving on practically zero sleep for over a week straight. Naturally, this triggered massive backlash on X and TikTok, with thousands calling out HYBE and Geffen for running an exploitative labor mill behind polished wellness statements just to feed the social media algorithms. When members drop out, the workload never pauses. It simply gets dumped on whoever is left standing, weaponizing unspoken guilt so exhausted teenagers push past their breaking point just to keep corporate deadlines on track. This is where the corporate priority becomes impossible to defend. While fans flooded social media begging management to pause activities and let everyone rest, the label was already locking in the next phase of the rollout. Katseye was scheduled to perform at the Daisy Chain Festival on August 29th, immediately followed by the massive launch of the Wild World Tour on September 1st, covering 30 dates across 10 countries before wrapping in Mexico. How can an agency market a global tour around female empowerment when the physical reality behind it forces half the roster to collapse from sheer exhaustion before opening night? I am genuinely curious how long the industry thinks it can sell this contradiction before the whole thing breaks down. When an agency pushes a 3-member version of a 6-member group through heavy press circuits while demanding a world tour, the mask completely slips. It proves that despite every sentimental statement about artist wellness, ticket sales, tour logistics, and corporate profit will always take priority over human limits. Sure, Megan and Sophia are back on stage now, but patching the lineup together with tape just days before a grueling 30-city world tour isn't a recovery. It's a ticking time bomb. At the end of the day, Katseye's situation exposes the cold, transactional reality of modern pop machinery. Corporate PR will preach artist wellness, but the tour dates must never stop. When young women are pushed to physical collapse just to satisfy algorithmic hype and executive bottom lines, the empowering image being sold becomes impossible to believe. The girls may have reunited on stage, but with a massive international tour underway, the real question is how long this fragile piece can actually hold before the next breaking point. Does the industry genuinely care about longevity, or are these artists just replaceable assets in a billion-dollar machine? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you value the unfiltered truth, and I will see you in the next breakdown.